Alright, so we generated scaffolding of our game, which is a website that looks like this. We also created a map, a small one, which Tile doesn't know anymore how to open, which is fine. Should be actually going to remove this one here. I'm gonna add game, and it's gonna be somewhere in the static folder. Yeah. Oh no, I opened the wrong one. Perfect. So this is the map. It's a huge map we created here, and this is where we are. That's the player spawn. We spawn on a meadow, some lakes here, then like a hidden path up here to this dungeon entrance. And to the west there is this forest, and we already placed our first spawner here, which is gonna spawn wizards. This little mystical kind of arrangement of stones with a fireplace, some needle forest down here, kind of a hidden path to another dungeon entrance, and a little town. So this is gonna be our MVP, our little proof of concept that this game is actually gonna be fun. And looking at this, I actually would like to surround the player so it's even more cozy to spawn. So I have separate layers, which I always misuse. I forget which layer I'm on, and I'm just randomly placing trees. So I'm gonna think hard. We have the trees and the walls on the wall layer, and I'm gonna place some more trees. So it's a bit more secluded. Now the main challenge is to load this whole thing into Python, but I'm actually not going to do that right away. I'm gonna create a few mock screens, like just start from the outside. Let's create a facade. We just pretend that we have a lot of things, a lot of features already. The repository is in the chat description, in the stream description, I mean. So the Pandabot wanted to upgrade Django from version 3 to 4. We don't want that because it's going to be a breaking change, and it's a bit trickier to upgrade everything. So let's not do that for now. And let's just go ahead and create a new page. So these are the pages we have. We have about, we have home. We have a sign up page, a sign in page, which we're going to use obviously. Home, about as well. We can leave those in place. I'm just going to create another screen here. I'm going to call it, it's on the page. So we have we don't have a main app. So we just have a game, and I'm going to create a new app, a main app, I think, based on the user's app. Or actually not yet. Let's just go with the mockups first. Let's call it main HTML. It's extending from base, our main template. I modified my map, yes. I saved some more trees. Let's register our page. Did I call it main? Yeah, call it main. Oh yeah, I need to load my Python because I would like to format my buffer, essentially my file. And once I have that, Black is gonna format all my files. Black is such a productivity booster. If you don't have it and you're using Python, then go get it. And we have this block called content that was defined in the base. So, and it's all about the base, don't forget that. So I'm gonna develop it, I think, mobile first. I want it to be really nice, really convenient on mobile. And I'm just gonna add the desktop views later on, I think. So essentially, I need this whole thing to look good on an iPhone XR or SE. I don't even know what the difference is. Something like that, like this. So I was thinking the field we're at on the top, then the map, the mini map, which is gonna be, it's gonna be probably like this. So maybe 7 by 5, something like that. And that's all the player can see. And then the player can go one by one through the world. So that's the second one. And then the lower third should be the chat. So I want this to be kind of an old school RPG thing where the chat is also kind of where things are happening. So if anything happens in the world, anything interesting happens to the player, then we're just gonna write it in the chat. So it's not just chat from player to player, but also from environment to player. Oh, I love cold coffee. This is gonna be the field, current field. So we're in prototyping phase. It's not gonna be of good quality. We just wanna be able to scrap everything if we don't like it. We're kind of exploring what we want. So the minimap and then the chat. And we want some navigation bar somewhere, and I was thinking to put it on top of the chat. Because if you think about it, this is where the thumb reaches, right? So navigation bar. Something like that. So how do I make sure that it's about 1/3, 1/3, 1/3? And do I even want that? It should also be maybe like an overflow scroll in each third. Or should I work with tabs more? So I'm gonna have Bootstrap 5 open here, the documentation, because I don't know it by heart. And yeah, let's design that thing. Let's put borders around it first. And yes, I know I could have used macros here. So the current field should have a title and a subtitle. So the subregion should be called Meadows. Let's make an H3 maybe. So the first region could be called Lake Town. So this would be Meadows Lake Town. And then we have a brief description. What's going on? Yeah. Maybe even H4. Because I don't have a lot of space on mobile screens and I have a lot of information to show. And then I think I will have 3 sections. One is the NPCs, or actually 2 sections, NPCs and people you can interact with and items. And let's just do it like quick and dirty. Just make a screenshot of it. It's this one. Game static. Images map.png. It's just gonna be a map for now, so I'm gonna load static to easily include static files. Then instead of saying minimap, I can go ahead and I can include images map.png. Great. We just need to make sure that width is full. Or do I need to specify like? I think without anything it's pixels. No, yeah, it's pixels. So this is the minimap. Some navigation bar, which has some navigation elements. Let's see whether Bootstrap provides anything helpful here. Some components maybe. We might be able to use some nav tabs here, because semantically it's the right thing to do. And it could also look alright. Yeah, I think that's it. Nice little nav bar. Because this is the main nav bar. I don't need that. I need like a secondary nav bar. I like the pill ones more. Yes, these. How about we just copy paste? Because I'm a copy paste programmer. Copy paste everything I write. I'm joking. All right, that's a nav bar. And as for the chat, I don't think Bootstrap has anything, but let's see. Maybe some list groups. That could be actually a chat, like those list groups. Or like, not only chat, but this is also a way to notify the player that something happened in the world. It looks quite powerful. Badges. Actually, that could be cool to use. Those list groups. Would it look alright? Let's see. Actually, let's comment on that. So this is the field. Then this is the mini map. I love it because now you start naming things as well, and it's much better in my opinion to dedicate time to name things, like separate naming things from implementing. Because I usually end up just ad hoc naming things as I'm implementing because I just want to get over with it. I want the thing to compile, and then it's not always a very good naming. This is the navigation. And this is the chat. So I'm sure we need to customize whatever Bootstrap provides here, because this won't work on a small screen. Like this is iPhone XR. It's huge. See, all the space was taken, and we don't even have content for the current field. That's a great idea, Nucci. Let the chat name variables, yeah. That is like how to make sure that velocity drops to 0 and the game becomes unmaintainable. No, but yeah, I think that's my intention, to kind of connect, you know, Twitch and game development a little bit and have people name things in the game. Not sure about variables though. That could be very messy, I imagine. Alright, so if we make it less wide, I know, this is not the proper way to make responsive images, but just to quickly get something visual. You want the variable to be named pumpernickel. You know what? You get like how about like, what date format should we use? Is it 2? Yeah. So this is supposed to be the chat down here. Actually, date doesn't make a lot of sense because things are happening quickly. So let's just say 1 p.m. 1, because that's the time here. And it's an old school font. Yeah, you mean my system font here. It's yeah, it's I think Roboto monospaced. That's my default system font. So this looks like it because it's my system font. But could actually fit the style I'm going for. Let's see. Usually I just drop Nunito Sans in my projects, and I don't really care. Let's see how that looks. Do I already have something like that? Pre-connect. Nope. So I'm just gonna drop it here. And swap is enabled. So Lighthouse won't complain. Then I need to apply the font as well. And I'm gonna do that in my project CSS. What's wrong with my... Oh yeah, I'm gonna apply it to body. It's a bit tidier, I think. Monospace is a bit... It's hard on the eyes. If you read code, it works. Let's see. Yeah, Nunito is like my default. I've seen it everywhere in all projects. That's why all the websites are looking the same. Yeah, so this is the chat. What else? Here somewhere. Oh no, a meteorite. Is that the right word? Meteorite. Hit the world somewhere. It's like a random event, I imagine, where people can start looking for some loot. So I mean, this doesn't work for a lot of with a lot of content. Thank God we don't have to deal with media queries. Yeah. So how do you do that with? I mean, yeah, because you only have to work on. Actually, I've never considered that. Yeah, if you work on iOS apps, then you have like what, 20 screen sizes that you need to consider. Pretty much all similar. But you have to take care of the nudge, right? Stuff like that. What's like uniquely difficult for iOS mobile app development that I don't have as a web developer? Media queries are a pain, yeah. That's the worst. Also for a client project I have, it's really bad. All right, let's make it the whole text and item. Another thing we need. Wait, it doesn't make sense. So this needs to be the most recent one. This needs to be in the past. 30 p.m. And so what? Maybe I can say something before that, like at 1:20, I say. Finally, it works. So right, now we have almost enough content to scroll. $1:15. The world is online. Is online and alive. Maybe that could be like the first message. All right, now we need to have some overflow scrolling behavior. Overflow scroll. That should be it probably. Overflow scroll. I think I wrote an Android app once, like that's my only mobile app development experience. And there you have this concept almost like a state machine of screens and transitions. And I remember that the default HTTP client was so wasteful in terms of connection handling that we had to use a third-party library. It was amazing to me that the default, Android API didn't provide, or was not the industry standard. So let's make the text. No, wait, that's not working yet. Overflow out auto. I think I need to define a max height as well. You might have to do that. I think that's gonna be an inline styling kind of thingy. Yeah, like they have here. Max height. What kind of CSS library is that? That's just Bootstrap 5. It's my default. I always go with Bootstrap 5 because it's just everywhere. And I used to do Bulma CSS. And I try to make it very simple. I don't use Sass anymore because CSS itself got powerful enough. And I just try to do things with good old CSS with a bit of utility classes. Like Bootstrap started doing it. I mean, Tailwind kind of pioneered this or made it really big. And now it's a mix between good old Bootstrap 5 classes and utility classes. And then I gradually migrate off of Bootstrap or override it, pretty much. Obviously, if I have like a team of, where I have a person taking care of it, UX, and dedicated like front-end developers, more leaning on the styling, designing thing, then I mean you can start from scratch. So let's see. So I used style components with a Next.js project. That was quite pleasant to work with. And I tried Tailwind with Django, but there it doesn't make a lot of sense, I think, because you don't get this. You will end up copying a lot of utility classes because you don't have components in Django. You have templates, and I think Tailwind really shines when you have components. When you can extract Tailwind styles and make your own utility class per component. Because without components, you just end up copying so much. So with this approach, with Django server-side templates, I just drop in Bootstrap. I do it with vanilla Bootstrap for as long as I can, and then I start overriding it. Yeah, pretty much that. So why is this not working here? Max. Oh yeah, that's not right. Oh yeah, the list group needs to be. How much is one RAM? It's like 25 pixels, right? I mean, it depends on the device. If I'm gonna say 33%, does it mean it's gonna be 1/3 of everything that's available here? Maybe that's the right thing to do here. Because I want it, maybe not 33, maybe 30. So how is the overflow working? I kind of want this to happen here. Overflow auto. And I certainly need to force everything into that one screen kind of. I don't want any scrolling. And I probably want to hide this navigation bar in the game. So I need another base, I think. It's not just the main base. I'm just gonna hide the nav bar. Does Malta celebrate Easter? Yes, they do. They do, seriously. So Till Marple was getting the last groceries that we needed for tomorrow. And the shops were crazy busy. It's a very Catholic country, so they take it seriously. It was amazing that gym was open yesterday, actually. Followed you on GitHub. Thanks for the follow, man. Yeah, GitHub is like almost my main social media. I just that's the first thing I pull up in the morning, and I just see what happened. All right, so let's so the whole screen, like everything, needs to be max height full, but not more than that. Max age 1 MH 100? No. Viewport, yes. All right, so that's the one I need. So this whole thing can be at most 100% of the viewport. There we go. Now it's no. All right, I need to check the responsiveness every now and then because that looks just awful. I just overheard that I got my camera wrong. So, why is it growing here? It's supposed to be container, viewport. Why is it growing to the right? Like, who is doing that? It's not the viewport, right? No. Yeah, it is actually. What the hell? Ah, it's the width. I didn't use the right one. Viewport height. That's it. Okay. Good, good, good. Responsive, and our scrolling even works. Ah, the pleasure of CSS. I just need to power through a little bit of design in the beginning, just to get that proof of concept off the ground. Hey, Funny Bones. Welcome to this stream as well. How is it going over there at Till Marbles? Yeah, do that, Nunchi. Have fun in her stream, and see you later. All right, so it's getting there. It's getting there. Which language you're working with? So a lot, actually. Right now I'm building, so this project here I'm building in Django, so Python, and the front-end side of things I'm going to keep very minimal. So because I'm a backend developer mostly, I'm just going to use Bootstrap. I'm going to customize that. I'm going to use server-side rendered templates. I'm going to use a little bit of HTMX if I need some dynamic features instead of using JavaScript. So I try to reduce the usage of JavaScript as well. HTMX is pretty cool if you don't know it. It's like it's an addition on top of HTML, which makes things dynamic. Like essentially the idea is that you can respond with a little bit of HTML from the server, and it will change the HTML content, like inner HTML, from whatever the response was on the server. So you can, as a backend developer, I can pretty much build nice websites without having to use a full-blown front-end framework. But for client projects, I'm also using a lot of React, Next.js, Remix, and so on. It's not that I don't like it, I just think my goal is to essentially build this little proof of concept here with this little map as fast as possible. And once that is off the ground, I'm going to look into different technologies. You work in Angular, nice. There we go, I just checked out Hoarded. How does it work? It's a virtual currency platform. So no, it's like it's more of an art discovery platform. We just scrape the art from Reddit, from several art subreddits, and you can just play, you know, as a play, trade it, sell it, and buy it. You get currency. I think every 5 seconds you spend on Hoarded, you get one of the currency, and then you can just buy things and sell things and so on. It's just a little fun project. So Funny Bones, what do you like most about Angular? Because I used to use Angular before version 2. When was the huge breakage? I started using Angular version 1, and then version 2 came along, and it's like a completely different thing. And I had to migrate an Angular project from version 1 to version 2, and it was a painful experience. Hey Ayush, how are you doing? All right, so we got the responsiveness, except for the image. We can actually also just say that the image can be whatever. No, we cannot. We need to provide it the actual resolution, and that the browser decides what to do with it. But right now I'm just gonna go with a quite big resolution. And I don't like this. What's going on here? Yeah, I think it was 15, 16, somewhere like that. And they changed to TypeScript and everything. And I was more of a React guy back then already. But I have a lot of friends who love Angular and built great projects with Angular. In fact, the banking and finance sector in Zurich is mostly using Angular because I think from the mental model, it's closer to whatever backend they're using, you know, which is usually some huge Spring, Java, or ASP.NET kind of thingy. You're getting frustrated trying to data link layer in computer network. What is data link layer? You mean like networking, TCP? All right, so is there some nice image component? Only with the card. And some figure component. What does it give me though? So I can just add the image fluid class. Make it responsive, but I need to... Whoa, what happened here? That was weird. That works a bit better. And obviously the font needs to be much, much smaller. It's in the second layer, all right. Is it that like OZ layer, OSI layer kind of thingy? I don't remember that part. Planning to make a switch to React soon. Yeah, React is just like pretty much industry standard, except for that little finance bubble that I know in Zurich. Everyone around me is using React for everything. I mean, even Twitch here is built on React. GitHub obviously is not. They migrated it off jQuery. So it's probably just some custom JavaScript there. React really shines with a React framework like Remix or Next. It's such a great front-end first tool. I don't know if you heard about Vercel in Next.js. You're 2 months behind your studies, you're trying to cover up. Yeah, I think we've all been there. It's a stressful, intense time. But it pays dividends long term, I think, if you do a good job studying those things. So we have a little of... So what happens on small screens? That works as well. I just need to get rid of the scrolling here. So, which means I need to get rid of this navigation bar because we have a little navigation here. Should I just remove... I'm gonna close some buffers here that are from other projects because because they're using also Django, and I'm gonna probably mess up some changes, and I'm gonna keep hitting refresh, and I will wonder why it's not refreshing anything. Happened way too many times already. So that works. If I get rid of this base extension, then it will also get rid of the navigation bar, which I don't want. So why do I need the navigation bar anyway? I mean, it's really, I think, good to understand TCP IP on a higher level. So what are you studying, Ayush? What are your studies? Is it actually computer science, or is it like some electrical engineering and you guys just have to know about these layers? I could just comment out the navbar for now and just pretend it doesn't exist. So I found my first kind of hierarchy of apps and template and screens. So the actual main game. Or no, not yet. So I'm gonna make a block here where I say this is navigation. And so this is gonna be in every template that we inherit, where we inherit from base, and we can just override it and make it empty. That's not really how you should do it, but just for the sake of getting something real quick. So now we have our 100% viewport height. It works alright-ish. Not really, because we need to define the max height of these thingies here. So we're gonna say max height is 10%, and the minimap should be 30%. I'm gonna check my Twitch stream every now and then, because I have a bad experience with the chat pop-out that I'm using right now on my phone to read what's happening. So we have 30%, 30%, 10%, 30%, which should add up to 100%. And it does, but something weird is happening. Why is this one bleeding into the minimap? So this is 30%. Oh, right. So the image is obviously not responsive. It's not really fluid when it comes to height. So how about we remove this one? And the minimap is the only component or only element that is gonna get as big as, you know, whatever is left for 100. Viewport 100. To the north, you see the sun. To the north, see lakes. You see the sun reflected in big lakes. So whatever description of the current field. It's more, this is like where the DnD aspect comes in. So we're going to be really minimal with the graphics, and I'm just going to pretend this is by design, but this is really because I'm not a graphics guy. Like, this is the crappy pixel art that I can come up with, and that's it. So I'm going to use a lot of text. We need a small font, like a very small. I think it's not even small enough what Bootstrap does. So I'm gonna add my own. What happens if I do FS6? Font size 6. That's pretty much what we have right here. Where's the utility class? FS6 here. One RAM important. So I'm gonna copy that. And I'm gonna create my own font size, which is suitable for small screens. Because Bootstrap is kind of this general use thingy, you know, that you can just start your project with. And the assumptions are just not there with what we're doing here, because this is not a typical website that is presenting you documents and, you know, per page document. This is more of an interactive little game. So it's all right if the font is a tiny bit smaller, but that's maybe a bit too small. I could also customize Bootstrap, by the way. I think it's built in as CSS, and I could just set up the build process here, but that's too much of a hassle. I just want to copy the Bootstrap minified CSS and use that. In fact, we can make the default font this small. All right, so let's add some monsters and items. So whenever a player is standing on a field, the player should see the name of the field, the description, and the list of items and the list of monsters to attack. We call it NPCs and items. NPCs. Maybe I don't need to put a title there. What can we use? Maybe Bootstrap has something here. Should I abuse this list component for another? Maybe not. Maybe that could work. I can hear what you guys are talking to Tilmarple. Like, I can overhear every now and then what she's saying. I think I should also adjust this. So, when we have a list of items on the floor, we can just pick them up pretty much. And with NPCs, we can interact. Maybe we should have 2 columns to save a little bit of space. Let's actually try that. So we make a row. And this is going to be a column. Where's the list group? I feel like I did. Oh no, it's the whole thing here. Maybe something like that. Then we have here some and it will work. If there's no NPCs, then the whole thing will be just gone. I mean, like this. I mean, obviously I need to remove the whole column. So like we have a wizard, level 4. We can attack. We can examine. No, that should actually be if we click the wizard. So this is an action, an actionable thing, which we need to indicate somehow to the user. And we can attack as well. Obviously this looks horrible because it's a default, but bear with me. It's the wizard, we can attack him. Then we have a shopkeeper without any levels, indicating that we cannot attack him, but we can trade with him.